You know, if you want to learn more about Jesus, you're going to have to look past his birth in Bethlehem, because Jesus' life story actually starts in Genesis, the creation account. God creates everything, and everything is good in Genesis. He creates Adam and Eve, the first humans, and he puts them in the Garden of Eden, which is a place where perfection dwells. In this instance, God was hoping to reach true communion and divine rest with humans. He wanted Adam and Eve to partake in his divine rest and his divine love because he wanted them to grow closer to him and follow him out of their own will. However, instead of choosing God, they chose themselves, which led to the first disobedience. As a result, God's connection and communion with humans was ruptured. This causes us to ask the question, how can we go back to that communion with God? But first, before we can get into Jesus, we have to look at Israel. God chooses Israel to be a nation that will reach out to others and show them the image of God and the reason we should follow him. And he wants us to restore the relationship that keeps getting broken apart by humans. And that is where Jesus steps in. He's not just a good teacher or a moral example or a miracle worker. He's God himself that is incarnate. He is God walking in town next to you. In Jesus, God takes on a human life, and he shows us what love can actually look like through all of his miracles that he does for people like Lazarus and others. And this love actually reaches its peak on the cross when Jesus is crucified, because Jesus gives us the example of the ultimate gift of self-giving. This is a really important theme in the Bible, and Jesus actually enters the worst of humanity, and he doesn't turn away from it. He takes it on, and he lets himself die, and he transforms it into something that is so much greater than himself. He transforms it into an act of love that all of us can follow after. Then the resurrection occurs. This is God's definitive yes to the love that we are seeking with him. The resurrection isn't just a miracle of Jesus, but it's a start of the love that we all seek in him. It means that love is actually stronger than death, and the healing and the reconciliation that occurs is so much stronger than any of the people that doubted Jesus as a king, a prophet, or a priest. Finally, we have the ascension. And in this instance, God doesn't just rise and disappear, but he actually creates a permanent presence with the human family. In the Bible, the disciples actually are overjoyed when Jesus is ascended, which might cause us to be a little bit confused, because why would you be happy if your Savior and Jesus, your teacher, just disappears into the earth? But it's actually a much greater history, because Jesus is now a permanent existence everywhere and among everyone. So in the end, Jesus is the perpetuation of his death, and he shows us love.